What's going on, everybody, and welcome to this Christmas edition of Unsportsmanlike Conduct. We got Frank from LINEMAKER Sports, your boy Christian, representing my Vikings with this ugly Christmas sweater on Christmas Day, and we're going to get through the NFL. We have Friday game, 3 Saturday games, a Sunday slate of games, and a Monday Night Football game. We have Christmas NBA games, which I'm super excited about. We're going to give you our free plays for the NFL, don't worry. And we have a special guest who's going to give us an NBA free play. Frank, this is exciting stuff, right?
Stay tuned for that.
All right, so let's just get right to it. So let's start with the NFL games, Frank. First one, Friday, today. I'm excited because it's my Vikings. They're on the road in New Orleans to take on the Saints. The line is at 7 right now. New Orleans favored by 7. This is my thing. The Vikings last year beat the Saints in the playoffs, and I feel like Mike Zimmer knows how to coach up against them. The Vikings' biggest weakness is their secondary, and the Saints don't have Michael Thomas for the remaining of the regular season. So if that line goes to 7.5, I kind of like it. But either way, the Saints obviously are trying to clinch the NFC South with this win, and the Vikings are just trying to stay alive. What are you looking at?
I mean, either way in this game, yeah, the Saints, you're going to try to test the Saints here probably to see how they play with Drew Brees back and everything. But you're right, Michael Thomas being gone, that's a very key. That's a key person for them to have, for the receiver core for the Saints. And on the Vikings side, I think the Vikings, you're right. They might sneak up a little bit in this game. They might be able to contend in this game and really make it a game. Right now, sitting at 7, it seems that it is trending up, that it's going to go probably to -7.5 by the time game time hits.
Yeah.
So if it does hit that key number, -7.5, that's something definitely people are going to want to look for.
All right, well, that's the Friday game, and we have games on Saturday also this weekend. I kind of wish the NFL would just be, I guess it would take away from Sundays, but I like this. I
playing
like
every
this.
day of the week.
Yeah, I'm with it. So Tampa at Detroit. This is the first game on Saturday. Detroit are underdogs, obviously, and that line has moved. Tampa's favored by 9.5 right now. They're on the road. They're coming off that win, the comeback win against Atlanta. And Detroit, I guess it's just their season's over, but they're just trying to kind of salvage some wins here for the new head coach that took over, Matt Patricia. So
in this game, the only problem I really have with Tampa Bay is they always seem to play down to the competition.
Yep.
Just like Atlanta, they were losing most of that game, which they probably should have lost the game if the Falcons weren't the all-time chokers in the NFL history of all time.
But they were up 24-7.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. It just seems like Tampa Bay, they play down to their competition, and now it's sitting at -9.5, which probably will go up to 10 because people love to bet Tampa Bay, obviously, because of Brady. I can't see that they cover that number. Just depends on which team shows up. Tampa Bay is one of those teams.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay is one of those teams where you just don't know you're going to bet them because you don't know which one's going to come. They might be a team that's locked in, solid, playing well, or it's going to be a team that plays down to the competition and they barely squeal out a win against a team they should have blew out.
Right. The only thing I guess is maybe Brady starts getting them prepared for the playoffs.
Hopefully. I mean, that's what you would think would happen. Yeah. But who knows when it comes to which team's going to show up for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, we have an afternoon Saturday tilt, and that's the 49ers in Arizona. Arizona could put themselves in great playoff positioning with a win here. San Francisco at this point just trying to ruin team season. Arizona is kind of inconsistent. That's the tough thing. The line's at 5. Arizona's favored by 5. That has moved significantly. Yeah. The 49ers, I mean, the only thing they have going for them is that defense, I would say. Obviously, they're banged up this year. But, the Cardinals have everything to play for here, and the 49ers don't. So
definitely a must-win. A must-win for the Cardinals. And that definitely reflects the number-wise. Went from 2.5 to all the way up to 5 already because this is a must-win for the Cardinals. And if they do win this game, they put themselves in good position. But, I don't know. This is basically a double home game for San Francisco. Because San Francisco's playing. Because San Francisco plays in Arizona now. So the Arizona 49ers, the Arizona Niners going against the Arizona Cardinals here. So this is a double home game. But
San Francisco Cardinals.
I do think that the Cardinals definitely have to win this game. So this comes down to obviously the spread of which one they cover because it's already going up to 5. Probably will go a little bit more than that by the time game time hits. But I do think the Cardinals will definitely win this game because I think they have to go in there and win. So this is a must-win game.
Yeah, if they win this and Chicago loses to Jacksonville, they clinch the last playoff spot. And then at that point, Week 17 is just all about seedings.
Yep.
Miami is the night game. They take on the Raiders here in Vegas. Vegas, only 3-point underdogs. Clearly two teams that have been going in the opposite direction. The Raiders have been playing like shit recently.
They really have.
Where the Dolphins actually, beat the Patriots. last week, and this could be, them solidifying themselves as a playoff team that could be that upset in week 1 of the playoffs. So I don't know. I mean, I almost feel like this line should keep moving up. I feel like the Dolphins will get favored by more than a field goal. But
the thing you got to look at here is definitely an alert that came up is that Las Vegas comes out as the favorite. They opened up as the favorite. So you get a total line switch here.
Look at that.
Total line switch here where they opened up at -2 and now they're getting 3. So you got to think there is a ton of money being put on Miami to be able to switch the line by 5 points there.
And Carr is starting, so it's not.
So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that is definitely a big alert for this game. Is you got to see why has there been a 5-point differential and change there, and total flip from an underdog to a favorite and a favorite to an underdog. So I don't know. Las Vegas, you just don't know. Again, that's another team you don't know which one's going to show up. Sometimes they show up like they play against the Chiefs and they look great.
Yeah.
Then they go and get blown out by the Falcons. Who knows which team is going to show up when it comes to Vegas? I mean, Dolphins traveling cross country, coming all the way over here to Vegas. Everybody's expecting them to win. Last time everybody expected them to win the game, they ended up losing.
Right.
So we'll see what happens in this game, but this is definitely going to be, which Vegas team shows up. Just similar like Tampa Bay, which Tampa Bay team shows up.
Yeah.
A lot of these teams in the NFL where you don't know which one's going to show up
Very
week in and
inconsistent
week
year.
out.
I mean, maybe COVID stuff has to do with it, and
exactly.
I don't know what else. I mean, the Raiders have been dealing with the COVID stuff. They probably the top 2 between them and Baltimore with COVID issues this year. So now we go to Sunday, and Cleveland is taking on the Jets. Oh, the Jets. The Jets are obviously started off given 10.5 points, but after that Rams win, their first one of the season, that line has dropped to 9.5. I still obviously Cleveland expect them to definitely take care of business. Now it's just a matter of whether or not they'll, cover. But I don't know. The Jets, the last few games, they keep contending. They start off playing usually with the lead, and then they just kind of give it up later. So, I mean, either way, this is more about, in my opinion, about Cleveland than the Jets. Obviously, the Jets at this point, the suspense of the 0-16 season is out the window. At this point, it's whether them or the Jaguars are going to get that first pick in the draft, and Trevor Lawrence most likely.
So with that said, that's why I honestly think the Jets game and the Jacksonville game, you probably are going to want to stay away from those games because you don't know if they're just going to try to tank the game or not.
Right.
You really don't know. So it's like these games you got to kind of just stay away from. You don't know if they want to tank it or not, because so you don't want to back a certain team because then you don't really know what the hell what to expect from either of them. But Browns should come in here and absolutely sweep up the Jets. But if the Jets want to lose the game, then they're going to get blown out.
Yeah,
it's just that
that's
simple.
true. I mean, you got to think, though. Yeah, at this point, even the players probably don't give a shit because they're not going to be on the wrong side of the history book. So,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, maybe that's why that line's so high. Exactly. Chicago coming off the huge win against the Vikings are looking to make the playoffs. If they win and Arizona loses in any of these next 2 weeks, they would get that 7th seed in the NFC. So they're in Jacksonville taking on the Jaguars. Kind of the same thing with the Jets, like we just spoke about.
Another game to kind of stay away from. And a lot of people are betting Chicago in this game.
They are.
Reason being because Jacksonville probably is going to tank. They're probably going to lose.
Seriously.
They're probably going to tank because now they're in position to lose the rest of their games. And
they lose this
they
week
got
and
the
next
number one
week,
pick. Exactly.
The number 1 pick.
So there's no reason for them to win. There's really no reason for them to win whatsoever. So
if I'm the owner of that team, I'm going to is Doug Marrone the coach, and I'll just be like, hey man, lose and you'll get a bonus. Just
exactly.
Lose.
So I do think this game you could watch out for Chicago. Like I said, I wouldn't bet on either of these games, the Jets game or the Jaguars game. But Chicago, maybe they can cover that spread there. If you can get it down maybe a little bit to beat them by a touchdown, not the 7.5. If you can maybe buy it down to like
7.5 is the scale.
you could buy it down to like 6.5 or something like that. Then maybe that's something to look at. So
Mitch has been playing well lately, though.
He has, but he's going to be instructed probably to do nothing. So
just give the ball to David
Montgomery. Just keep throwing interceptions. That's it.
Atlanta is on the road to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs obviously playing for home field throughout the playoffs, and that first seed, they're 13-1. Mahomes having an MVP. Is he your MVP?
I think so.
He doesn't have one. Lamar got it last year.
I can't think of anybody that's up there contending with him really. I mean, to give him I'd have to go with Mahomes.
Yeah, I would go
to
with
be the MVP.
Mahomes.
I would have to.
So they're taking on the Falcons. That line has dropped, but Kansas City's still favored by 10.5, and that's one of your magic numbers, pretty much as you say.
Yeah. So when it comes to like this game now, Kansas City against Atlanta, Atlanta, to me, honestly, I think Atlanta's a horrible team. I do. I think they're absolutely horrible. And for some reason, like I've said in previous weeks, Matt Ryan, he has his weapons, but when he has them, he doesn't use them. And he doesn't look that good. So now you're going against Kansas City. You can score on Kansas City. Kansas City's defense is suspect a little bit, so you can score on them. But Atlanta's defense is horrible. So I think, honestly, right now at the 10.5, maybe that's not too much for Kansas City to cover. Kansas City could easily win this game by 2 touchdowns. But depends if they got the motivation enough to do so, and Matt Ryan comes out and just does what he's been doing.
And the Falcons do have that garbage time touchdown potential.
Yeah, they do. They definitely do. Yeah, they do have the garbage. They're just garbage all around.
They're just garbage. It's the Atlanta garbage versus
the dirty birds.
City Chiefs.
The dirty birds straight out the trash can.
Yeah, and I don't know why I said Mahomes didn't have an MVP. Obviously, 2 years ago he won it. But the Colts take on the Steelers. This could be the game of the week. The Steelers obviously have lost 3 in a row after being 11-0, and everyone talking about possibly they'll have the undefeated season, and now they look like trash.
Yep.
Juju took our advice.
Yep, he stopped dancing.
He said he's going to stop. So good for him. And Pittsburgh's actually coming into this game as an underdog.
Another one that flipped.
Yeah.
This is another alert one where Pittsburgh was the favorite, and Pittsburgh's getting no love from everybody. Everybody thinks that this is the worst 11-3 team in the history of the NFL.
I mean, it's hard not to think that, though. Even I think that.
I don't, though. Honestly, I don't. Because I just feel like they're in a little bit of a funk. Once you start losing, now you kind of got infected with the losing a little bit. So now they're just playing in a little bit of a funk. Their offense is looking terrible. Defense isn't looking that bad. But their defense is on the field too goddamn much. So that's why they're getting points scored on them. Because it's like, the offense goes out 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. Like, what do you expect? The defense is going to be like, all right, guys, what the hell are you doing? Like,
so this is why I like the Colts. To me, this is a bad matchup for Pittsburgh because the Colts can run the ball. Jonathan Taylor had a big game last week, the rookie or second-year guy.
Yeah.
The Phillip Rivers is one of those like dink and dunk quarterbacks. He's not a big play guy.
See now you see it this way, and then I'm gonna flip side and see it the way I see it. The way I see it as is Phillip Rivers. It does horrible under pressure. The running game could be absolutely shut down by Pittsburgh. And Indianapolis Colts defense is very suspect because they can get scored on by anybody. So this might be the tune-up game for Pittsburgh to come out and their offense gets back into form and they're able to do something here. I think this is a must-win for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has to win this game because if they don't win this game, now they're really in a serious slump. And they're even in like, you know, they could lose the division. So it's like
I think I don't know. That's me. I'm off the Pittsburgh. They've had too many injuries. It's not even just the fact that the teams. They've had just so many injuries too. Two of their top linebackers out for the year. One of the guys that replaced them was playing well. He's out for the year. So
everybody's abandoned Pittsburgh. I'm still hanging there a little bit with them. I'm still hanging there with Steeler Nation a little bit
this next
because I do think that people just discredit people. Like as soon as they start losing, all of a sudden they're a horrible team. I do get that they should never have lost to the Bengals.
They should have never lost.
They should have never lost to the Bengals last
football
week.
Team. They should have never lost to the Ravens. I mean, the Ravens game, I guess. The Ravens,
but I mean, the thing is that this is going to be a heavy test. You got Pittsburgh, who was one of the best teams in the NFL, if not the best team in the NFL at one point. Everybody was thinking. Now all of a sudden, everybody abandoned them. Now they're at home. At a game where they must win, fair. And now they're the underdog.
Fair, but their last few wins were against shitty teams.
No, a lot of their wins were against shitty teams. So. I honestly believe that. Yeah, I agree with that. But you're taking Pittsburgh at home, and now they're an underdog. Sports betting is about value, so you definitely there's some value in that to take an underdog.
Your field, you know that. Yeah.
So you know, I just think that's something to look at, guys.
All right, we got the G-Men, the Giants, taking on the Ravens in Baltimore. Baltimore's favored by 10. This kind of depends on who's starting for the Giants. Colt McCoy played well in that game where he replaced Daniel Jones. And Daniel Jones came back, and they looked like ass. Colt McCoy came back, and then they still looked like ass.
Yeah.
So I feel like the line's where it should be, pretty much with Baltimore favored by 10. The Ravens have really kind of righted the ship after that big diarrhea win by Lamar Jackson, where he came back and won the game for them against Cleveland.
Like they knew they had to start winning, and that's what they've been doing. They've been consistently winning, and you know it shows. Just like last week, they go and blow out Jacksonville. That's what they should have did.
Right.
So they went in there and did it. This week they should go in and they should blow out both. I mean, they should blow out New York.
Yeah.
So that's what it should be. That's how they should be rolling because. Right now, they're not in a position to lose a game to a shitty team.
The crazy thing is, if the Giants somehow find a way to win and Washington loses, then the Giants, it's that NFC East is horrible.
Yeah, it's
all right.
a mess.
Cincinnati coming off their surprising win against the Steelers are in Houston taking on Deshaun Watson and the Texans, who looked horrible against the Bears, and then last week lost on that fumble in the red zone to the Colts. So it's just so weird with Houston. They play so bad against Chicago, then they come back and compete against a playoff team in the Colts.
Yeah.
And then now they play the Bengals at home, and you'd think that they'd be in the driver's seat to win this for sure, but you just never know. And then the Bengals, obviously coming off that win against the Steelers, look like they have some kind of life, like they're playing for something, even though they're not. But maybe it's just pride. But this one's a tough one because the number is Houston minus 7.5. So with the Texans being favored by 7.5, I'm kind of
iffy because their defense is shit. Their defense is shit. This is just a shit game. This is another one of those. These are one of those garbage time games. It's like it don't matter who wins. It doesn't matter what happens really in this game. Now Cincinnati. Yeah, they looked pretty impressive, actually, against Pittsburgh. They looked pretty good. But Houston, I don't know. Houston's look like they have a bunch of problems. Like, Deshaun Watson, it sometimes looks like an MVP, and then sometimes he just looks horrible. So, I mean, I don't know what to expect out of either team in this game. So, as this game, I would advise stay away.
All right, so these next 3 games, we'll just roll right through them because they all look pretty shitty to me and probably to you. We got Carolina taking on Washington. Washington's favored by a point. Nobody really cares about Carolina anymore. Their season's over.
McCaffrey's not playing, I don't think, anymore.
Yeah, I think they'll just rest him. And then Washington, obviously, if they get this win, maybe the NFC East is theirs. So they have something to play for, but they came off a loss last week.
Yeah, and then Haskins is in trouble for being at the strip club or something or whatever. So
took away his captain role. Why was he a captain anyway?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sorry. Just because he's a quarterback?
Yeah, took the C away from him anyway. But
seriously.
Yeah, this is a game I would ignore. There ain't nothing really too much I want to look into in that game.
Yeah, this will be probably one of the most. That and this next one to me, at least the next one, which is Denver taking on the Chargers. Justin Herbert is exciting. So at least there's something to watch there. Chargers are favored by a field goal at home in LA. Denver's 5-9. LA's 5-9. This is positioning for the draft.
Yeah,
that's what I would call it. So
all it is. Another shit game. It's really doesn't really matter what happens here. But yeah, I agree with you. Justin Herbert's fun to watch. So
yeah, so maybe he can just keep padding his stats. And is he your rookie of the year? I mean, there's been talk about offensive rookie of the year between him and Justin Jefferson.
I like Justin Jefferson.
Obviously, I like Justin Jefferson, but I do think usually goes to the quarterback.
It does. But
I think it depends. These last 2 weeks, if Herbert lights it up and gets like 3 touchdowns, 300+ yards this week and next.
If Herbert would have led the team to the playoffs, then I would think, I would give him.
Yeah, that's true. But neither is Jefferson.
I think, but Justin Jefferson's not in a position to be able to lead anybody in the.
Did you hear that last week, by the way, Kirk was waiting to throw the ball in the red zone, didn't, and then Justin Jefferson yelled.
Yeah, and he got mad.
He was like, "Throw the damn ball, Kirk." It was so funny. Even the rookies calling out Kirk Cousins. That's not a good look.
I do like Justin Jefferson though. So honestly, that would be my rookie of the year because you can give it to the quarterback, but the quarterback didn't do anything to better his team, which he should have.
Yeah, I mean playoff wise.
Yeah. So I mean.
All right. From that we go to Jalen Hurts taking on and the Eagles. I mean, it is pretty much just
Jalen Hurts going against the Dallas Cowboys.
And the Eagles are on the road. This game started as a pick'em, and now the Eagles are favored by 2.5, probably because of how well Jalen Hurts played last week against Arizona. And
Cowboys looked actually pretty decent against the Niners.
That's true. So at this point, I mean, maybe a pick'em is where it should sit. So I mean, Philly getting the 2.5 might be nice there. Like I said, Jalen Hurts is looking pretty good. I don't know what you do with Carson Wentz now at this point. He's unhappy, but you can't really trade him. His contract sucks, but I don't know.
I'd dress him up as a mascot or something. I don't know.
Yeah, make some use out of him. I mean, right now there's nothing going on. Just make him dance with the cheerleaders.
This is definitely another shit game. You got 2 teams that are shitty against the spread. It's all a bunch of shit in this game.
Yeah,
I don't know.
This is just a diarrhea game.
This is just a diarrhea Lamar Jackson type game.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's just move on. We don't need to talk more about that game. We have the Rams in Seattle. This could be the game of the week. The Rams obviously came in underdogs by 2 points. That line didn't move so much. Seattle's still favored by 1.5 points. They're at home. Obviously, LA coming off that horrible performance against the Jets, where Jared Goff looked not so good in the beginning. Then he kind of started coming back. But I don't know. They're just so inconsistent, where Seattle looks a little better in my opinion. But I don't know what to make of this game. The only thing I do like here is the over-unders at 47.5. And I mean, what sucks is you just don't know which Rams defense is going to show up. They have all these playmakers. They spent all this money on defensive players, and they come out and give up like 25 plus to the Jets. So
And now, usually on the road, the Rams on the road are 4-3. They're not too efficient defensively on the road, so they're a little suspect when it comes to defense on the road. And Goff on the road too, for some reason, doesn't play that well. So I don't know what to expect really from LA in this game. Seattle now on the other side. Seattle plays great at home. Offensively, Russell Wilson's always locked in Seattle. They're 6-1 at home, and defensively, they're the worst pass defense in the league. So they're defensively, when it comes to passing, they're not that good. So Jared Goff should have his opportunities to pick the secondary and do some stuff here. So I think maybe in a total in this game is where you want to look when it comes to value in this game. Might be my free play coming up. So
dang it, don't do that, Frank. That was my free
just
play.
A little hint. Maybe a double. Maybe we went with the double one.
Yeah, we better be sure on this one. All right, Tennessee takes on Green Bay. This is the Sunday night game. I feel like Green Bay has had a lot of like national TV games. Deservedly so. They have
Everybody
Aaron
loves to
Rodgers.
see Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Discount double check.
Discount double check, yeah. Tennessee are 3-point underdogs. This started with Green Bay being favored by 4. This number seems kind of low to me. I like the Packers. I think the Packers have been rolling. Surprising, I didn't even realize this. Tennessee's 10-4.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So they've been picking up some wins lately, I guess.
They're
10-4. So Green Bay's 11-3. Green Bay just seems to come out hot, and then they kind of just chill because they have the game in the driver's seat. So
yeah, I mean, in this game, it's the defenses obviously are both suspect defenses on each side. Tennessee has shown that they can give up 40 points, and also Green Bay has shown that they can give up 40 points as well. So defenses are a little suspect on each side. Offensively, you know what Tennessee's going to do. They're going to smash you in the mouth with Derrick Henry.
Yeah, that's the
and
thing.
then they're going to play action with Tannehill and look for stuff there. So you know that's their game plan, what they usually do. Green Bay's offense, you know what they're going to do. They're going to come in. Aaron Rodgers is going to let it fly like he always does. And if Aaron Jones can do what he did last week, Aaron Jones had a phenomenal game. If he can go in there and do the same thing this week, they should have no problem with Tennessee.
Yeah.
But in this game, it's hard for Green Bay to cover spreads. They're 4-6 this year against the spread. So that's another reason why probably this number has went down from -4 to -3.
Although this spread, though, if they lose this spread, chances are they might lose this game.
Yeah.
So I just don't know if I see Green Bay losing. But you're right. I mean, if they don't stop Derrick Henry, that's going to keep Aaron Rodgers off the field.
It is.
And Tennessee, I mean, it's not like Ryan Tannehill sucks. I think he's a viable quarterback. So maybe this is a potential upset game. And now this is my biggest stay away game because I'm so scared to bet either way on this. It's Buffalo taking on New England. This seems like the passing of the torch in the AFC East game.
Yeah.
Obviously, Buffalo seems like the new powerhouse in that division, with New England kind of falling off now with Brady's departure and all that kind of stuff. New England started off as 4.5-point underdogs. This line has moved all the way to 7. But remember, New England could have beat Buffalo earlier in the season if it wasn't for that Cam Newton fumble in the red zone.
Yeah.
So Bill Belichick plays, I'm blanking on the Bills quarterback, Josh Allen. He plays him well. This line is kind of high for me, and it's in New England. It's a Monday night game. You know Bill Belichick, that grumpy old man, is going to want to embarrass the Bills, and after the Bills seem all like, invincible at this point. They're 11-3. They're feeling all good about themselves. So this is just a tough one for me. I have no clue what to do with this game. Obviously, New England's officially eliminated out of the playoffs, so at this point, all they can do is play spoiler. Two teams like Buffalo. So I just feel like if Bill Belichick, if someone asked him like, hey, which team would you like to play spoiler to for the rest of the season, this would be the team he would pick. So,
and the reason behind that too is because honestly, when you look at everything with Buffalo, they're the best all-around team in the NFL this year.
I like them.
They're the best all around.
And nobody really talks
I know
about
everybody
them like
loves
that.
Kansas City and everything like that, but Kansas City's defense isn't that great. So Buffalo's offense is pretty well, and their defense is pretty well. So they're a well-rounded squad.
Yeah.
So now going against New England, I feel like Josh Allen should definitely want to, embarrass New England, obviously, because the Bills are going to want to embarrass New England because New England's did nothing but bash them for the last 10 years plus.
Yeah, seriously.
So, I mean, I'm sure they're going to want to embarrass. They
Yeah.
definitely want to embarrass New England here. And New England's defense, like I always say, is a good defense. They have a solid defense. And I do think that, they're probably going to be able to stick it to Josh Allen a little bit here and disrupt him a little bit. because he's been looking absolutely fire. I mean,
Right,
Josh
right.
Allen's been looking absolutely like an MVP type Josh Allen. I mean, this guy was looking pretty good. Nobody really talks about Buffalo, though. And it's funny, you just said that. Nobody really talks
does.
about. Yeah, you would think Buffalo isn't even in consideration to do anything.
Seriously.
But they are. They're a great all-around squad. But you definitely want to probably look. I don't know. It's very tough.
It's just because they have an unproven quarterback, technically. Because
yeah, I know. That's the thing. It really
like
is.
they beat Pittsburgh a couple weeks ago, and not just beat them, they spanked them. So they look like they can contend up there with the best of the best.
That's a tough Monday night game, especially with the number being at 7 now.
Aren't they the team you would? I mean who's gonna beat the Chiefs? And Buffalo's the only team that I give like some kind of chance to, because I think that offense has enough firepower.
I like Seattle,
but they're in the NFC.
I know.
I'm saying in the Super Bowl, but I'm saying the AFC. I like Buffalo better than Baltimore. I like Buffalo better than any of these, even Tennessee. But I mean,
it's a tough game now. I mean, with the number at -7, you're on the road and you give 7 points. That's a little suspect. It's kind of hard. It's hard for road favorites to cover big point spreads, and it's not really a complete mismatch. Like New England's offense is horrible. I ain't gonna lie. Their offense is terrible, but the defense is good, and Buffalo's team great all around. So it really just depends how the New England offense plays. If the New England offense doesn't even show up like sometimes they do, then Buffalo is going to blow them out. If the offense is actually halfway decent and New England's defense can hold Buffalo a little bit and struggle them a little bit, this could be a very tight game. This could be a little bit closer than what people think.
Yeah. All right, so let's get to the free play. What's your free play, Frank?
Free play. Let's go over the record so far. We're actually doing pretty well for the last couple weeks. So I think I am 2-1 in our 3 free plays that we gave.
I think I'm 2-0-1.
Yeah.
Because I pushed last week on the Chiefs. I had the Chiefs -3.
Yeah. So actually doing pretty well with the free picks here.
Yeah. And, not bad.
So this week I'm gonna go with the Seattle Seahawks over 47.5.
Oh, over 47.5.
I'm going to take them over 47.5. Why? Because I think the Rams defense on the road is suspect. Seattle's defense is garbage on the pass defense. So Jared Goff is going to probably try to air this out a lot, and he's probably going to get some success. So this should be a decent scoring game.
So, all right. I'm torn here because I do like Seattle in that matchup. Like you said, for multiple reasons. The fact that obviously the Rams aren't that good on the road. Seattle's 6-1 at home. But just to make it more exciting, I won't pick that game. I'm going to go with the Atlanta-Kansas City game. It's in Kansas City. Like we said, the defenses in this game are not that good. I think there's a chance for the Chiefs to air it out. And also the fact that Edwards-Helaire is going to be out this game, so they're starting running backs out. So I don't think the rushing attack will be as efficient. I think the Chiefs will go up quick and have a big lead, which then means Matt Ryan's going to do a lot of throwing in this game. That number sits at 54. I'm going to pick the over. It's a little riskier because that number's already, for an NFL game, relatively on the high side. But I just feel like this one will be a high-scoring game. I think Atlanta could put up 3 touchdowns. And if they put up 21 and the line holds, so I think the Chiefs will win by more than 10 anyway. So I'll give the over on the 54, and fingers crossed that that's what happens. So
I like that. The only problem I have with the Falcons over, every time so far this season I've taken the Falcons over, Matt Ryan don't show up. So that's the only problem I have with that.
I just think he'll have no choice but to throw a lot because Kansas City, I think, is just gonna take control of that game. So, all right, well that wraps it for our NFL preview. But there's NBA, there's Christmas Day NBA, so there's a couple games we need to get to, more than a couple, because actually it's a full day slate of NBA games. We can get into that. Let's get into the NBA stuff.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
All right, so NBA, we'll start with the first game. First of all, I'm so happy that the NBA is back. It's so weird to see the arenas empty. I've gone into this already, but what an exciting week already we've had. The Jason Tatum bank 3. Did you see that?
Yeah,
that was crazy. Which anytime I see that, I can't think of like, damn, how lucky. But at the same time, obviously,
he just threw that shit up. He just stepped back and threw that shit up.
I know. I watched Luka,
and Giannis was like, "Oh, what the?"
Then he missed a free throw. Giannis can't make a free throw. That should be his last name for just a day.
This is what I don't get with elite players. Now, me and you, we played basketball. We know that it's hard to hit free throws. We don't go out there and be like, oh, they should be hitting those free throws. It's hard when you're in the game and you're sweating your ass off and you get to the line and you're breathing hard trying to hit a free throw.
I'm still no airball free throw champ right here, though. I haven't airballed one yet.
You are a professional basketball player, and you should know what it takes and the routine to knock down free throws.
It's like an extra point. Yeah. I always say it's like an extra point.
It is.
If you miss it, it should be money off your paycheck.
And if you are among an MVP type talk, you cannot be a person that can't knock down free throws. I'm sorry.
Seriously.
You just can't. Because when it comes down to it, you can be a hack-a-Shaq situation where they used to just foul Shaq just to get him to the line, just, to waste free throws because he's going to miss them anyway.
He shot in the 60% last year.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so a lot of exciting stuff there. Obviously, Brooklyn looked unbelievable. I think as long as Kyrie doesn't ruin that team, I think they're my favorite to come out of the East. Yes, it's their first year together, but they have a bench that pretty much got them to the playoffs as the starting unit last year and the year
now you got
before.
one of the two best players in NBA history, obviously.
Their backup centers, Jared Allen, started for 2 years. Karis LeVert coming off the bench, started for 2 years. They got Dinwiddie running the point.
Now, given they did go against Golden State, which Golden State, they're not going to be...
Draymond didn't play.
Yeah, they're not going to be that good anyway, but they did look very impressive. They really did. So. All
right, so we'll start with the first game, noon Eastern time, and this is New Orleans, the Pelicans taking on the Heat. The Heat lost their first game, surprisingly, but it's early in the season, and New Orleans looked great. They beat Toronto. Zion put up a double-double, and I watched that game because I'm a Raptors fan. And Brandon Ingram, I must say, he's good, man. Like he looks like Jason Tatum.
He's got that length.
He's that lengthy,
really
small
lengthy
forward shooting guard that can hit a jump shot when you need it, and he kind of took over that game. So that will be an exciting game to start off with. Obviously, Miami looking for their first win. If we're looking at the line here, Miami's favored by 4.5, and I'm not gonna lie, I like the Pelicans the way they played. This might be, I don't know, the Heat team. I don't know if it was a fluke last year. I don't think it was a fluke, but I also just think that they needed. They just had favorable matchups, and if they don't have those favorable matchups, then I think they struggle a little bit. So
I think in this matchup, I think they kind of have a favorable matchup in this against New Orleans. New Orleans doesn't like to play defense that much. I mean, they showed the first game they actually played pretty good defense. Yeah,
but that was a lot of Toronto struggling. I watched that game.
Yeah, so I mean that's what I'm saying. So you can't really. That's why the number probably is reflecting that, and also the over/under numbers dropped all the way like 6 points almost. So,
seriously.
So I mean that's another reason they're thinking that New Orleans is a new defensive-minded team, which they might not be. It might have just been because Toronto wasn't playing that well.
That could have been it.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with this. Miami, I think this is a good spot for Miami to grab a dub.
Yeah, I mean, they're at home, get that 1-1 and start playing better.
Yeah.
Golden State is in Milwaukee. They're taking on the Giannis and the Bucks, who are 0-1 because they lost that Celtics game.
Yeah.
The Warriors, man, I was so excited for them this year, and I don't know that it's all attributed to Klay, but I think that has such an effect on everybody else. Obviously, if Klay plays, it makes everyone's job so much easier, not just offensively. He's a great defensive player as well. I just feel like the Warriors are just so banged up. All they have is Steph, and unless Steph goes off, where are they getting their points offensively? I mean, you're counting on a rookie or Andrew Wiggins.
And Andrew Wiggins doesn't even seem like he's doing anything, really. I mean,
I mean, the line's Milwaukee by 10, and even that seems low. I don't know, but
that's definitely. I mean, I don't know. That looks like a blowout game to me.
It does.
It just looks like a blowout game.
All right, Brooklyn and Boston. I think this will be the best game.
This will be
the game of Christmas. Brooklyn 1-0. Kyrie coming back to Boston. So I mean, a lot going on here. The storylines are awesome. The Celtics are 3-point underdogs, and they're at home. Like I said, they just beat Giannis and the Bucks, but this will be exciting. Obviously, Boston has defenders, Marcus Smart, Tatum and Jaylen Brown. So that matchup against KD and Brooklyn should be exciting. So
I think this matchup we're gonna see now what Brooklyn really has. That first game was like,
let's go.
I mean, they're playing Golden State. They were gonna win that game anyway. They could win that game with their bench. So I mean, let's see what happens now. Boston and Brooklyn. Let's see. Boston is a smash mouth. They play defense. They're a good team. Yeah. So let's see what happens now. Let's see how Brooklyn plays against Boston, and now try to measure that. A lot of people are jumping all over Brooklyn in this game, obviously, because of that blowout with the Warriors. So the number has jumped all the way to -3 now on the road. So might be some good value on Boston. Depends on which team shows up for Brooklyn. If they're as good as they looked against the Warriors, they should blow out Boston too.
Yeah,
so
they should.
We'll see what happens.
I'm excited. So I'm excited for that game and this next game, which is Dallas taking on the Lakers in LA. Both
is
teams
LeBron sitting out?
No, he's playing. He said he's gonna play. He said he doesn't want to miss any Christmas game. Mm-hmm. So the Lakers obviously trying to get their first win of the season, and so is Luka and the Mavs. Yeah. I watched Luka and the Mavs take on Phoenix and Chris Paul and the Suns, and the Suns look pretty good. But I think more importantly is that Luka struggled, and not having Kristaps Porzingis playing really kind of makes that team one-dimensional. It's either Luka or Tim Hardaway Jr. You know, like there's even Jalen Brunson was taking over that game against Phoenix at the time. So if Jalen Brunson's the one taking over, you know, that's Dallas is in trouble. So and Luka went like 0 for 6 from 3. So it's really one of those games where unless Luka does it himself, it's kind of a struggle. The Lakers are favored by 6 in this game. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. This one's.
It's a tough.
I want to see Dallas take the win.
It's a tough game because if Luka plays very well, he could definitely single-handedly take LA down.
But if you're the Lakers, obviously the game
you're probably
plan
pissed
is
because you lost that first game, and you didn't look that good in that first game.
Yeah,
honestly,
really.
They were down by 20 in the first quarter.
Yeah,
they didn't look good whatsoever.
They dropped that first game.
But the same shit happens with LeBron's teams year in year out. They start out shitty, and then they just play hard when they need to.
Right,
and then they float into the playoffs.
Don't count out LeBron until the playoffs.
Exactly. Yeah,
we know they're gonna get there.
That's why LeBron teams are very hard to bet in the beginning of the season because it's like everybody thinks they're just killer teams that are going to blow everybody out, but they just tend to play very nonchalant, just like, all right, let's go through the motions. We know we got to win when we got to win. We'll step it up when we need to.
Yeah, so not worried about the Lakers whatsoever. Yeah. And the Clippers, who beat the Lakers in that first game, are coming in 1-0, and they're taking on Denver. Now, remember,
Paul George, who we were dogging out, he balled out.
He remember that Denver beat them last year in the playoffs after the Clippers were up 3-1.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a revenge game. I think
a statement game by the Clippers.
A statement game, maybe. Yeah. So this game's in Denver. Did you watch the end of this game? They played Sacramento.
No, I didn't watch it.
And Jokic was setting up for the final shot. And then he turned it over, and we went the other way, and Harrison Barnes missed a dunk because it got blocked. But then there was a tip-in by Buddy Hield at the buzzer, and Sacramento beat Denver in the first game. So this is all exciting stuff. The NBA is back. Which game out of these are you most excited for? I think we agree on
Boston, Brooklyn.
Yeah, me too. Boston, Brooklyn.
I definitely want to watch that game to see where Brooklyn really stands.
Yeah, so...
But I do think we got a special guest to give us a pick on the LA Clipper game.
We do. We have a special guest. We gave out our football free plays. We have a free play coming from a special guest.
Superstar, I must say. He's a superstar when it comes to the halftime shows.
Yeah, and he's going to pick. He's going to pick which team's going to win this game between the Clippers and the Nuggets. Check it out. All right, so the Clippers it is.
Clippers it is,
right?
The guru himself.
The guru picked the money line on the Clippers. So that's the free play. So
I kind of agree with that. So.
I agree also. All right, well, from Percy, Frank from LINEMAKER Sports, Christian, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. We'll be back next week. See y'all then. Enjoy the weekend.